3D tables. There is general agreement that an advantage of 3D learning environments is the ability to provide real contexts for learning. However, Hinrich points out that the virtual world is not about just being there, but about doing there. O. Driscoll, Cape, Bears, Zetlemoyer and Ulster, for example, also recognize that the 3D environment is an immersive one, and should promote participation, and not children simply being passive recipients of information. This may, however, be somewhat controversial in terms of the proposed curriculum put forward by the coalition government, which has a focus on facts and a knowledge-based approach. It is worth pointing out, though, that research by O. Driscoll and Cape has shown that learning and retention was comparable in 3D learning and instructor-led learning, and that it is not a replacement for, or an alternative to other technology or teacher instruction. Rather, it is complementary and a tool that can be used alongside other methods. It also links to the Every Child Matters policy, which sets out the need to maximize opportunity and minimize risk. Obviously, visits to the past and distant places, for example, are out of scope for the normal primary classroom, and a virtual situation would eliminate any dangers that the real one would hold, whilst providing the opportunity for children to take risks with their learning that they might not otherwise. Khaled discusses the possibility of children losing touch with reality in virtual worlds, so it would be important for the children to be able to distinguish between the two, in order to avoid any confusion. For the children, guiding avatars through true situations in virtual worlds will naturally provide unanticipated problems and will therefore promote the use of key skills such as thinking, reasoning, problem solving and communication, which we have a duty to teach as stated in the current national curriculum. It will require both independence and collaboration. Even today, children have the facility to autonomously fill gaps in their knowledge using technology such as the Internet as a resource. Similarly, the 3D environment is flexible and on demand. Children can access learning when they recognize the need to, and it can be updated quickly and frequently. What may be more time-consuming is training children in the use of the technology, and on the independent learning strategies, which may need to be employed. We would argue, however, that the children that would be using this are what Mark Perensky defines as digital natives, those children who are born into a digital world. Recent studies by the Kaiser Family Foundation have found 8 to 18-year-olds spending more than 53 hours per week, on average, using entertainment media. Bears, Zetlemoyer and Ulster also linked the use of this technology to intrinsic motivation. There are some practical issues that we might encounter when using 3D tables in our classroom. Samsung recommend turning off all fluorescent lighting and blocking sources of direct sunlight to use 3D modes. Our classroom would facilitate this with the windows changing transparency, for example, but it is debatable whether working with the lights off for any prolonged period would be ideal. We would, however, follow Samsung's advice to take frequent breaks, which would also help lessen the likelihood of associated symptoms, which can include headaches and fatigue, dizziness and nausea, for example. In terms of classroom organization and safety, the 3D tables would also be placed away from any obstacles, cables, doors, etc. in the event that children become disorientated. Children are more likely to experience these symptoms than adults, so teachers must monitor the children's behavior while using the tables.